Uncomplicating working with spirit is where I want to go today, Tom.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of people in the world who have techniques and spiritual practices and everything. And I'm like, I've personally been working with lately setting some energies, and I know that you have too. Excuse me. So I think it would be good just to kind of walk through a little bit of how we work with it.
Yeah, and just a quick recap. I'm a soul with a physical body. I'm here on planet Earth to learn and grow. And I have a team of spiritual helpers or guides. They've been referred to as angels, archetypes, masters, the ancestors, all sorts of things over the years. But they're my personal team of souls who have mastered planet Earth and the lessons that I came to learn. So for their love of each other and humanity and for their growth, they offer us insight into our situations. And you can learn to have a two-way communication with them.
Yeah. And I guess for myself, I've always been very directed, and it seems like I've been in the right place in the right timing, mostly, right? I mean, there's sometimes I'm like, I probably could have, maybe could have done a little differently with timing there. But that is one aspect for myself that I found has been so beneficial, is recognizing that that I have an unseen, and some people can see him, but I can't, an unseen, team that's behind me my whole life. And so a couple scenarios lately that I want to talk about is, one specifically is I have a new grandson this year. And as with most children, if you're not around them 24/7, or they're little babies, which he's still a little baby, he's like not even 8 months old yet, it's hard to not be with mom, right? And usually when they're not with mom, they're screaming, they're crying, or they're upset because mom's gone, and this weird person's in my space.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the last couple times I've seen him, and actually started about maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, I've watched him twice now, and by myself, and they've went out and had an hour or two by themselves. And before I get into going there, I cleanse, the cleansing technique that we do, and we'll put that link in the show notes so you can check that out if you're unfamiliar with our cleansing technique. And then I work my guidance to the baby's guidance, and I just ask for just set the energy to have a really good experience, for everyone to stay relaxed, and to really just have the best experience possible. And both times I've been there, the baby has been so good. And last night when I was there, he was so good. He cried a little bit, but then we walked around, and both times he actually fell asleep on me. And so it was pretty phenomenal when, the parents came home and they're like, oh my gosh, he actually fell asleep on you. That's kind of unusual. So it was one of many examples of the times when I set the energy with spirit, how profound it can be working guidance to guidance.
They can even help you when your baby's crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a practical example of living your everyday life and, having those beautiful moments and opportunities, and how you're working with spirit and setting your intention. What I hear you saying is that you just have a beautiful, smooth experience. I do something similar to in some of my business opportunities. And when I go into where I work or the office, I'll set the energy, and I'll send love and backing, positive vibes to the angels that work with the people that I'm working with, and even some of the customers. And, I just kind of work with guidance as I cleanse myself, and I send positive vibes. And I always send to the angels because they can work with it. They can work with that healing energy. But I notice that day seems to go smoother. I stay more relaxed. I get positive comments from people, and it never ceases to amaze me how sensitive people are around me. And it helped me realize, folks are just sometimes under pressure, and it's almost like they're appreciative of the healing they get. They don't know I sent it, but I achieve my goal of better communication and having better relations with the people that I'm working with.
Yeah. And so what we're talking about is really something very simple. And it, again, when I started the conversation, it's not complicated. And I too recently had a situation at work where, because I do accounting, and there was one specific project and the invoicing, I couldn't figure out what happened, and neither could my co-partner, my coworker. And so we left. I said, let's just, sleep on it, come back. And before I went into the office that day, I set my energy. I said, guys, I really help me gain a perspective on this and help me gain some clarity on what has gone on and how to move through it. And I went in that morning, and before I even worked with my coworker, I just got into it. And within like a few minutes, I found exactly what it was. And I was screaming, hooray. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I figured out this, and it was done. So again, just that uncomplicated, simple way of working with spirit that some people, if you said to them, I work with my angels, I work with this, like, oh, what's that all about? Or I'm sending good vibes, but it works. Like there's no denying it works when I'm working with a newborn, that could cry and be upset when mom's gone, and or working with a situation at work where it goes so much easier working with spirit.
Well, the language of spirit is the language of feelings. And so, you being an intuitive, as you said, you don't see your angels so much, but would you say, how do you experience them? Do you hear them, or in like that still small voice within?
Yeah, I get words. Yeah.
Yeah. And some people get feelings, and other people have inner knowings. Pictures are real powerful for me. And those clairvoyant type impressions and solutions. So it's learning to, discern that, and also set my intention, set the energy. Everything's energy. I'm energy. I'm a soul with a physical body. And I'm here really, one of the ways I could say it is I feel like I'm here exploring the power of my soul. And that works when I work from a loving, creative vibration, a positive, healing vibration. My motives in that situation at work are just to heal, just to have clear communication so that I can be of service, they can be of service. And, my intentions are good, so to speak, like the old phrase or the song. But it's about being a healing light rather than trying to control things or trying to control the outcomes or have power over people. If you've got something that's working with you in that way, that's not your guidance. I'll go out on a limb and say that, your guidance don't come from that point of view. In fact, they may disappear. They may vacate the space. And if you wonder why you don't get some answers or things don't seem to be falling into place, it could be your motives need a little adjustment.
I'm so glad you said that, Tom, because the key word that came to me was trust and surrender. And it's so true. So when I set the energy for a situation, or say even my day ahead, or I'm going to be with mom going grocery shopping, and she's had some health challenges, so I want to set the energy to make sure we have the best outcome for everyone. I don't have any expectations. I don't go, oh God, it's going to be like this because I set the energy. No, I just let it go.
I relate. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a key thing too, is not setting expectations, because if I when I even say that word expectations, I get a little feeling like, ooh, that doesn't even feel good, because then I am trying to control. Well, if I set the energy with the baby, and I know I'm going to get there, there's going to be no crying, there's going to be no this and no that, and there was some crying, but I stayed relaxed and worked right through it. And at work, I went in, I had to do some looking a little bit, and then there the answer was. So no expectations is, for myself, has worked really well.
That's a great way to clarify things, because same for me. I'm not expecting, I have goals in terms of what I want to accomplish, but I stay relaxed as I move through the experiences. So yeah, let's say I have a goal to hit certain metrics or certain points of accomplishment, when you're involved in business. And the thing I found is the more I stay relaxed, so where my guidance can help me, or when I set that energy, is, oh, just take a deep breath. When somebody comes in and they're upset or they're under pressure, I don't have to buy into that pressure. I don't have to defend myself. I can get a keyword for my guidance, or just tune back into that happy, loving, vibration. For me, my goal is to live a life as smoothly, happy and free For yourself, I heard you say, I just want to maintain my enthusiasm through the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when our mission is aligned with spirit, that's when they can back us the most.
Yeah, and I think that's a good reason why, or one of the reasons why I wanted to share this today, because there are so many people who are at the moment very challenged with what's going on in the world. And we share some of that on Spiritual Perspectives, Discerning News, how there's so much going on, and, how to relate to what's happening on a different level, but then taking it now a little bit further, and not only, understanding or starting to discern, but working with your personal team of support. And I know in the last episode, you also discussed a bit about how, or no, it wasn't that. It was actually in the green room. My bad. In the green room, we were talking before, you had talked about how you recognized you were coming to a different layer of understanding with spirit and working with the guides. So would you like to share a little about that?
We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
The main thing is that language of spirit is feelings rather than concepts. And so that's something about.
Yeah, I guess I didn't say it right.
Yeah,
the part I wanted to share about was you mentioned how your guides work with teams.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So, I have several, spiritual helpers or angels. And I was raised Catholic, so I like the idea of having a guardian angel. And, there's truth in all things, but not one thing has all the truth, that we often say. So my angels, my guidance, were giving me an insight that they actually, when I'm moving through certain areas that spiritually in life or certain challenges, there's actually other teams that can move in and back me. And but my guidance are like the crew chief of that team. They know what I came to do spiritually. And so, rather than work with like the angel Gabriel or Michael or whatever the deal is.
Michelangelo.
Yeah.
The one that did all the painting.
Highfalutin thing. My angels have an affinity for me. I chose them. I have a contract with them. And it's just becoming aware of the ESP nature of our soul, the extrasensory perception nature and intuition. This has become mainstream. People believe this, and they have experience for it. That I can communicate with them, but it's not. It's through those language of feelings. But just to know that, wow, they're evolving as they help me, and so that's part of their 50% is they get to be involved, learn as they work with me. But it gave me a real sense of security, like, oh, that's cool. Special teams can be brought in. And, if people want to learn how to work with their angels, we offer a profile or a session, a consulting session where we check with our angels who give the information from your angels as to, how many you brought with you, how they best communicate with you, and where your energy's at, if you're tracking positive or negative or inconsistent or undecisive. And, you actually learn a tool and techniques to get clear answers from them.
Yeah, we'll put the link down below in the show notes for you can check out that. So,
because we're big believers in, that as I grow spiritually, I've got to kind of rediscover it for myself. And as I move through these, people can tell me stuff, but it never takes until I have that experience. And maybe that angle of what I need to learn to get out of my own way, to help release these limiting thoughts and ideas and emotions that I go through, is my guidance can give me that bigger picture insight as to the true reality that exists for me as a soul.
Well said, Thomas.
Yeah, I guess I did some of that pretty good, didn't I?
You sure did.
I have a lot of practice at that.
You do. Yeah, you have had a lot of practice. How many years? A lot.
Well,
some
years.
Many decades. So we hope that this mini morsel episode may have given you some insights and some thoughts about working with your spiritual team of support. And, even if you say never came to us for a session and connected with them in that way, you're always connected. I think that's the key too, is you're always connected. So talk to them, ask them questions and see what you get back, and just notice the hunches, insights, and impressions that they will bring your way, and even the goosebumps sometimes when they come
the
close.
chills is always a big sign, isn't it? That, there's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, because I've known people that know nothing about spirituality or this side of them and being a soul, and they'll say, "Whoa, that gave me goosebumps," and I'm like, I know what that's all about.
Yeah.
So again, we hope that inspired you to just recognize the support you have around you, that love back and support you 24/7, and you can access them in very simple ways.
Very simple ways.
So just check out all the, we'll have the links below for actually the last episode of Spiritual Perspectives, Discerning News, where you can check out some of the insights we had about what's going on in the bigger picture, and also the special session that Tom and I both offer.
Yeah, and some free videos, links to some free videos to give you a bigger picture. So there's some great links. And Teresa wrote a book called The Soul Quake Survival Guide.
Just throw it all at him, Tom.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it all at you.
As the Earth's crust shifts and changes, our lives do the same. One way to maneuver through the small and large moments that shake us to the core is by reviving your connection to spirit, gathering ways to cleanse your energy field, embracing spiritual awarenesses to give you a bigger picture, and knowing that you are not alone on your journey can be a great support. The Soul Quake Survival Guidebook is a great companion to meet you where you're at and support reviving your connection to spirit in earth-shaking times. Get your copy today through Amazon worldwide in paperback, ebook, or in audio, and begin embracing more clarity, inner peace, and enthusiasm for your life and what you've come to do.
Did your guidance work with that? Did they tell you to throw it all at him?
Throw them all at them.
Okay.
Lots of choices.
Lots of choices.
Good choices.
Absolutely. To just back you guys. So thanks again for listening to another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. We appreciate you so, so very much. And until next week, just remember that
life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.
See you soon.
To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.